Welcome back to our channel, World of Coins. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Abraham Lincoln wheat penny coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them because it could make you a millionaire overnight. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we've got an exciting discovery that could make you take a second look at your coin collection, because today, we're talking about a true gem from America's past, the 1944 wheat penny. This seemingly ordinary penny could be hiding something extraordinary, and in just a few minutes, you'll understand why it's one of the most sought-after coins in the world of numismatics. Now, let's go back in time to 1944, during the heart of World War II. The United States was in the midst of a global conflict, and this coin was part of a crucial effort to keep the country running smoothly. The wheat penny, named after the iconic wheat stalks on the reverse side, was produced from 1909 to 1958. But the 1944 wheat penny, in particular, has some secrets up its sleeve that make it one of the most valuable pennies today. At first glance, it looks like a typical penny. The obverse features the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, and the reverse showcases the two stalks of wheat, symbolizing the nation's agricultural heritage. But here's where things get interesting. What makes the 1944 wheat penny so rare and valuable is its unique history, particularly an unexpected twist during the war years. During World War II, copper, used to mint these pennies, was in high demand for military equipment and ammunition. As a result, the U.S. Mint was forced to change the metal composition of the penny to conserve copper for wartime needs. In 1943, instead of the usual copper, pennies were made out of steel, and they became known as the steel cent. But here's the kicker: in 1944, the U.S. Mint returned to producing copper pennies, but a small batch of pennies were mistakenly struck on steel planchets, the leftover steel blanks from the previous year. These accidental steel pennies, also known as 1944 steel pennies, are exceedingly rare, and they have caused quite a stir in the coin world. Now, you might be thinking, okay, a mistake is cool, but why is it worth so much? Well, the key here is rarity. Only a handful of these steel pennies were made, and most of them were either melted down or lost over time. That's why finding one in good condition today is a huge deal. Most of these coins are worn, rusted, or damaged because they were made out of steel and not copper, which doesn't hold up well over time. The rarity and uniqueness of the 1944 steel penny have made it a holy grail for coin collectors. But the story doesn't end there. Even among the steel pennies, some are rarer than others. Coins with the perfect strike, high-quality condition, or those that were preserved without much wear are especially sought after. Collectors are always on the lookout for these pristine examples, because they can be worth even more than a typical error coin. What makes these coins even more exciting is the thrill of the hunt. You might come across a 1944 penny in your change or a collection that's been tucked away for years. If you find one of these rare steel pennies, especially in mint condition, you could be sitting on something very valuable. Some collectors have reported purchasing a 1944 steel penny for only a few bucks, only to later learn it was worth a fortune. So, how much is one of these rare 1944 steel pennies actually worth? Well, here's the exciting part: depending on the condition, some of these coins have sold for a staggering sum. In fact, the most valuable ones can be worth as much as $76,000. That's right, $76,000 for a single penny. Imagine that, just a small, seemingly insignificant coin could be worth a fortune, all because of a mistake made during the production process. If you've got any old pennies lying around, it's definitely worth checking them out more carefully. Who knows? You could have a rare 1944 steel penny in your collection, and that penny could be the key to a serious treasure trove. Top 2, we're about to uncover one of the most exciting and valuable coins from American history, the 1954 wheat penny. Now, we all know the iconic wheat penny, a symbol of the United States' rich numismatic heritage, but what makes the 1954 edition so special? Well, stick around because this little penny might just be worth a lot more than you think. The wheat penny, first minted in 1909, became a staple of everyday transactions in the United States. Featuring a portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and 2 stalks of wheat on the back, this coin was produced for nearly 5 decades. But today, we're focusing on a particular year, 1954, and trust me, this one stands out in a big way. At first glance, the 1954 wheat penny may seem like just another coin in your collection. After all, it was minted in large numbers and circulated for many years, so why should it stand out? Well, the 1954 wheat penny is known for its remarkable scarcity, especially in certain conditions. Many of these coins were heavily used, meaning most you come across today are well worn and have lost some of their original beauty. But finding one in pristine condition? That's where the magic happens. The 1954 wheat penny is especially notable because it's one of those coins that didn't make many waves when it was first released. However, with time, collectors have started to recognize its value, particularly for specific characteristics like minting errors or its overall condition. So, let's dive into some of the factors that make this particular coin a hidden treasure. First off, let's talk about rarity. The 1954 wheat penny was minted in substantial numbers, but fewer of them remain in excellent condition today. Coins that were heavily circulated show signs of wear, including scratches, discoloration, and fading. But what if you could find one that looks like it just came out of the mint, with sharp details, original luster, and no signs of heavy circulation? That's the kind of coin collectors dream about, and it could make all the difference in its value. But wait, there's more. What really makes the 1954 wheat penny stand out in the numismatic world are the minting errors. Sometimes, during the production process, a coin doesn't get struck properly, and it can have unique features that make it different from the typical issue. For example, errors like double dies or off-center strikes are highly prized by collectors. These mistakes, while rare, are incredibly valuable because they offer something truly one of a kind. Imagine finding a 1954 wheat penny with a double die error or any other mistake. It would be like striking gold. Now, let's talk about the condition of the coin. A 1954 wheat penny in mint state, meaning it has no wear, no signs of being handled, and shows absolutely no damage, is going to command a premium price. The more pristine the condition, the higher the value. Coins in this state are difficult to find, and when they do show up on the market, they're highly sought after by serious collectors. Here's where things get even more exciting. While the 1954 wheat penny might not seem as rare as some other vintage coins, when you combine its unique minting errors or pristine condition with its age, you have a coin that can fetch a seriously impressive price. So, what are we talking about when it comes to value? Well, if you manage to find a 1954 wheat penny in excellent condition or with one of those coveted minting errors, it could be worth as much as $61,000. Yes, you heard that right. $61,000 for a single penny. Just think about it, this small, often overlooked coin could have the potential to turn your collection into a small fortune. So, if you've got a stash of old pennies or just a box of coins lying around, it's definitely worth your time to check for that rare 1954 wheat penny. The right one, in the right condition, could be hiding right under your nose. Top 3, we're diving into one of the most intriguing and valuable coins in American history, the 1945 wheat penny. At first glance, this might look like just another penny, but trust me, you'll want to stick around because this little piece of American history might be worth more than you could ever imagine. The wheat penny, first introduced in 1909, has become one of the most iconic coins in the United States. With Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front and the 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse, this coin tells the story of America's past. But today, we're focusing on the 1945 wheat penny, a coin that's captured the attention of collectors everywhere. Why, you ask? Well, it's not just because it's part of the classic wheat series, but because the 1945 penny has something extra special about it that could make it worth thousands of dollars. Now, let's take a step back to 1945. The United States had just emerged victorious in World War II, and the country was transitioning into a time of peace and prosperity. The economy was changing, and so were the minting processes at the U.S. Mint. The 1945 wheat penny was part of this post-war period, and while it might have seemed like just another coin at the time, some of these pennies have gone on to become incredibly rare, and worth a fortune. Here's where things get interesting. While millions of these coins were minted in 1945, finding one in excellent condition is extremely rare. Over the years, most of them were used in daily transactions and show the wear and tear of being in circulation for decades. But if you happen to stumble across a 1945 wheat penny in pristine, uncirculated condition, you could be holding on to something much more valuable than you realized. But there's more to it than just condition. The 1945 wheat penny, like many coins, has a number of potential minting errors that can make certain examples even rarer, and even more valuable. These minting mistakes, while uncommon, add an extra layer of excitement for collectors. Whether it's a double die error, an off-center strike, or any other variation, these rare defects can drastically increase a coin's value. Some of the most sought-after 1945 wheat pennies are those with double dies. This happens when a coin is struck multiple times, resulting in a blurry or duplicated design. This can happen on either the obverse or reverse, and when it does, it creates a unique, one-of-a-kind coin that can drive collectors wild. If you happen to find a 1945 wheat penny with a double die, you could be sitting on a treasure. What makes these minting errors even more exciting is the fact that they're hard to come by. While most people are just looking for a regular old penny, collectors who know what they're searching for are hunting for those rare errors that make a coin truly special. And if you happen to find a 1945 wheat penny in flawless condition or with one of these errors, you could be looking at a very substantial payday. So, what's the value of this coin, you ask? Well, depending on the condition and any potential errors, the 1945 wheat penny can fetch a stunning price. In fact, a rare 1945 wheat penny could be worth as much as $69,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $69,000 for a single penny. Imagine finding that little gem tucked away in an old jar of coins or inherited from a family member's collection. It could completely change your financial future. Now, if you're sitting there wondering if you've got a 1945 wheat penny hiding in your collection, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. Check the condition, look for any minting errors, and see if you've got one of these rare, valuable coins. If you do, you could be holding on to a small fortune. Top 4, we're diving deep into a true American classic, the 1949 wheat penny. Now, this coin might seem like just another penny at first glance, but trust me, you'll want to hear all about why it's one of the most fascinating and valuable coins you could come across. Let's rewind to 1949, right after World War II. The United States was transitioning into a period of economic stability, and the minting of coins was in full swing. The wheat penny, which had been minted since 1909, was one of the most commonly circulated coins in the U.S. during this time. However, despite its widespread use, the 1949 wheat penny has become increasingly rare and highly sought after, especially in certain conditions. Why, you ask? Well, it's all about rarity and condition, and there's a lot more to this coin than meets the eye. Now, let's talk about rarity. While millions of 1949 wheat pennies were minted, most of them were used in everyday transactions. Over the years, many of these pennies were worn down, scratched, and tarnished. But finding a 1949 penny in mint condition, free from any damage or heavy wear, is extremely rare. The key to its value lies in how well it has been preserved. Coins that have been carefully stored, kept away from circulation, and maintained in excellent condition can be worth far more than their face value, but that's not all. The 1949 wheat penny also has some minting errors that can make it even more valuable. Collectors are always on the lookout for those coins with slight imperfections, as they tend to be unique, one-of-a-kind pieces. Whether it's a double die error or an off-center strike, these mistakes can turn an ordinary coin into a highly desirable collectible. Minting errors are always rare, and when they occur on a coin that's already in demand, it can dramatically increase its worth. One of the most exciting types of errors to look for in the 1949 wheat penny is the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck twice by the same die, causing the design to appear blurry or duplicated. If you happen to find a 1949 wheat penny with a double die, you're looking at something really special. These coins are among the most coveted by collectors and can command top prices in the market. So, let's get to the really exciting part. Just how much is a 1949 wheat penny worth? Well, if you have one that's in pristine, uncirculated condition, or one that features a rare minting error like a double die, you could be holding something worth a small fortune. Believe it or not, a 1949 wheat penny with these characteristics could be worth as much as $64,000, that's right, $64,000 for a single penny. Just think about it, a coin that's been around for more than 70 years could turn into a treasure worth tens of thousands of dollars. So, if you have any old pennies lying around, it's definitely worth taking a second look at them. You never know, you could be holding on to a rare 1949 wheat penny that's worth a lot more than you think. Top 5, and last wheat penny coin. We're about to explore one of the most iconic American coins, the 1950 wheat penny. This seemingly ordinary penny has been circulating for decades, but what if I told you that it could be worth a lot more than its face value? Stick around, because you won't want to miss this. Let's take a trip back to 1950. The United States was emerging from the post-war years, and the economy was steadily growing. At this time, the wheat penny was still in circulation, with the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the 2 stalks of wheat on the back. The coin was a part of the everyday lives of millions of Americans, but it wasn't long before it became a collectible. While many of these pennies were used and worn down, some of them were carefully stored, kept in excellent condition, and over time, these coins have become highly sought after by collectors. What makes the 1950 wheat penny special? It's all about rarity and condition. While millions of 1950 pennies were minted, the vast majority were used in everyday transactions, which means they've suffered wear and tear over the years. However, coins that have been preserved in near-perfect or uncirculated condition are incredibly rare. A well-preserved 1950 wheat penny, especially one that has avoided damage or heavy circulation, is highly valuable, but here's where it gets even more exciting: minting errors. Every once in a while, something goes wrong at the US Mint, and the result is a coin with a unique flaw or variation. Minting errors are incredibly rare, and when they happen, they make certain coins much more valuable. For the 1950 wheat penny, some of the most desirable errors include double dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks. These coins have characteristics that make them stand out from the regular ones and are considered a treasure by collectors. One of the most exciting errors to look for is a double die, where the design of the coin is stamped more than once, causing the letters and numbers to appear blurry or doubled. If you find a 1950 wheat penny with a double die, you've got yourself a rare, one-of-a-kind collectible. These coins are extremely valuable because they're so unique and difficult to find. So, how much could a 1950 wheat penny be worth? Well, if you're lucky enough to find one in near-perfect condition, or if you happen to stumble upon one of those rare minting errors, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Believe it or not, a 1950 wheat penny with a pristine strike or minting flaw could be worth as much as $59,000. Yes, you heard that right, $59,000 for a single penny. Imagine that, a coin that was once worth just 1 cent could now be worth tens of thousands of dollars because of its rarity and unique features. It's a true testament to how valuable well-preserved coins can be, especially when they have a history that's hidden beneath the surface. So, the next time you come across some old pennies, take a moment to check them carefully. You never know when you might discover a 1950 wheat penny that's worth a lot more than just 1 cent. It could be the start of your very own coin collection that's worth thousands. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss out on future discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy coin hunting!